Welcome back to the Dynasty Football Maniacs. All right. Whoo. It's been a busy day for me. Today I got a year older. That's fun stuff.
Yeah, happy birthday.
Well, thank you. Yeah, so this draft here, wow. Don't know what to say. Uh
Yeah, it's a
I
wild
mean,
one, I'll tell you that much.
yeah, that one definitely set me like, okay. I was like, so I was thinking of how to break it down for you guys today. I think mainly we're going to focus on the offensive side, and then me and Austin come back and do another show on the defensive side. I think it'd be so much to try to cover in one
It,
show.
it'll be the easiest way is to do it that way.
But we do have to mention who Mr. Irrelevant was. I mean, that can't be forgotten. So it was a defensive player this year, a cornerback. His name was get just right here. I had a second. Kobe Minor. Drafted to the Patriots at pick 257. So don't waste that guy away because you never know. He could be a Brock Purdy. I mean, it could happen.
Hey, I mean, we've seen weirder things happen, so
So yeah, so let's not dive in and try to mentally think of what happened other than it happened. And I think it shocked the world because people didn't understand it. And maybe it's something we don't know, or maybe it's a gimmick or whatever. But at the end of the day, he finally got drafted. And he's at the Browns. I think, in my honest opinion, he'll win the room. I just don't see Kenny Pickett doing it. I don't think Dylan Gabriel's the guy. If he don't win it right away, he'll win it before the end of the season. And if you don't win it at the end of the season, I guarantee you next season we're going to see him. I don't think he's that untalented. I don't think that. I don't know what the reason was. I think he could prove himself. If he plays with the chip on his shoulder, I think he can do it. That's just my opinion. If I was putting all my bets
well,
on it, I'm betting on Sanders. I mean,
I mean, it's like this, not gonna go with the reason why this happened because I don't know, and I'm not gonna say something, and then we have, one room come and destroy me, and then if I say this way, another room's coming to destroy me. So we're gonna avoid that. But I will say this, he, you know, he was high. He was a prospective. He was a high prospect, but for some reason he got drafted in the fifth round. Now, he's actually showed a pretty good bit of class. He handled it a lot better than I probably would have. Um, slipping from the first three rounds, but at this point, he got the opportunity. Now, he needs to, like you said, take that blue chip, put it on his shoulder, and honestly, just take the Tom Brady mentality, really, and just go out there and every minute, every opportunity you get, you just show them why this is the reason why you chose me. Regardless of what round it is, regardless, if they skipped him ahead of time or whatever the case. Right? He's got a place. He's got a really good opportunity to take it. Now it's all his to go and take from everyone else and
and
prove everyone wrong.
that's exactly how I feel about it. So going in that, I know Austin didn't get a chance to do some of this ranking, but I'm sure he'll correct me as I go because he's got inputs. So here we go. Uh, when I
Well, I was well, you won't get my official rankings to when we re-update everything, but
yeah.
I am going to give out opinions for this one, so we'll
Yeah,
see
so
how this goes.
basically this is a rough draft because we still have undrafted teams, like undrafted players that are still going to get picked up by teams that will go on this list. Right now this is just based on the offensive players that was drafted to a team. So you're talking a number of, I'll tell you the number in just a second. I have it right here, 83, actually 82, because I have a player on here that's technically a defensive player, but I listed him as an offensive for Dynasty football.
Hmm.
Why? If you're playing in an IDP, there's a possibility and a chance. So if there's the possibility and the chance, and they give him both positions, and he plays both positions, or he plays one more than the other, but he's tagged both for both, he becomes a very valuable player in an IDP fantasy league. And he's a stud at that. So we're talking about the overall second draft pick, Travis Hunter. He could
Well,
be listed.
it's funny. While you're on your point, I was looking up his depth chart, and they got him listed, as the wide receiver, but they also got him listed as a defensive back.
I know. I
So,
know.
so it's crazy because right now they got him listed as a starter, but they got him listed like they got him second string as corner. But you and I both know that they're gonna put in some packages for him, so it's gonna be, dude. He's gonna be like a secret weapon in fantasy. In all honesty, if he gets tremendous snaps in both sides of the field.
Yeah. So when I started putting this together with 83, 84, 83 players, I couldn't like go 1, 2, 3, and 4. It's so hard to do that in fantasy because what I want to do is get a place marker and say, hey, these guys fit this category, and these are my first 4 guys I'm gonna go with, and I'm calling them my tier one. They might not be everybody else's tier one, but this will be the only defensive player I mentioned in this one, and that's because Travis Hunter could go wide receiver, and if I had him in an IDP league, he's in my top 4. The next the next 3 guys I have, that the only 4 guys I have listed in my tier one. Cam Ward, quarterback, because most of us play flex, and we know he's going to be the starter. So how good he does at the Titans, we don't know. He ain't like my top prospect. If I was drafting and I was 101, I would be picking him. I would be picking Ashton Jeanty, the running back at the Raiders. I'm gonna tell you that's gonna be amazing. Now, my other running back that I put in that group, and this is kind of like early, but I honestly believe he will win the room. He will be the best back coming out of that team. He will be the starter, and I believe you're going to see what he did at the SEC, and he won't be overshadowed by another player. Even though he has another good player with him, I still think he's going to dominate the room, and that's Quinshon Judkins for the Browns. This is for fantasy related. I think as point wise, these 4 guys are going to be pretty much top notch in my book. These are the guys I'm going if I'm through the 101 to the 104. Now at the 101, I'm guarantee you it's Ashton Jeanty. I'm picking him. 102, I'm most likely going to go for Quinshon Judkins. Unless I'm in an IDP league and I'll probably get Travis Hunter. I mean, why would I pass up Travis Hunter unless someone else grabs him? Cam Ward would probably be my 4th pick out of all them guys. I would have to be the 104, and all 3 of them guys would have to be off the board for me to go.
Well,
But that's
it
for my
also
team
depends.
needs too.
Yeah, I was going to say it also depends on how bad you're going to need a quarterback or not. Some people are hurting and are desperate, so they might jump over something and get Cam Ward earlier. But it also depends on what you really need. So if you're not like super hurting in a quarterback department, I would suggest going something else.
Right. In most uh dynasties have quarterback flex. There is some out there that still doesn't play the quarterback flex. Um, so when I go into my tier 2, I have 3 quarterbacks in the tier 2, and yes, I'm putting Jackson Dart there. He is the Giants guy. That's because it's a quarterback flex. It's not saying that's my go-to guy, 5th pick. Tyler Sal at the Saints. But guess what? I also have Saunders there. Why? Because if I had a choice out of all 3 of them and I seen Saunders won the room, I would take Saunders over them. Like, it depends on where the draft is at and where is he at in his progression. Like, if I feel like he's going to be strong, I know a lot of other people are going to pick him up. If I was gambling, I would want him over the other 2. That's just my opinion. Next is my running backs that I got in this room. I have 2 running backs. I have Omer Hampton with the Chargers. Yes, he's sharing with Najee, but he's sharing with Najee, and Omer's pretty good. The other guy I have is Trevor and Henderson's for the Patriots, and he's also sharing with Ramon Stevenson. And then my next running back is Caleb Johnson. I had 3. I'm sorry, I lied. And he also sharing a room with Jalen Warren. But honestly, I think Caleb Johnson and Trevon Henderson has a greater chance of taking the rooms over. But Hampton, don't count him out. He's a good running back. And I don't know why every time we start filming, I get a fly. but I'm not going to say nothing. I think someone intentionally invites him in just so I could start swinging. He's not there the whole day. I was working on this computer, putting this stuff together. Now it might be my voice. I might attract him. I don't know, but I'm sure it's not the same fly from the last show. If it is, then that's a miracle in itself. But uh, now I have a lot of wide receivers in this room. I have a total of 5 wide receivers in my tier 2, and my number 1 wide receiver in my tier. I'm gonna start with my number 1. I'll give you my number 1 wide receiver. Now you guys can say I'm wrong or I'm not, but out of all the wide receivers that were drafted in the best position that had the highest potential chance of being a great wide receiver right off the get go for fantasy points, I'm going Matthew Golden, Packers. I mean, he can win that room. I see it with Jordan Love. I'm taking him over any other wide receiver that was drafted this year. Right now, that's my perspective. The next one in line, McMillan, Panthers. What's there? I mean, you got a young quarterback that was starting to get warmed up, has a good reputation at one time. Yeah, he's had a couple bad seasons, but once the moment happens, the moment's going to happen. He's getting the pieces around him. Let's see if he can do it with these pieces. That would be my next guy. My next guy above him, yeah, some people say it's a reach, but I don't think it's a reach. I like it. I like Jake Beck for the Raiders. What is there at the Raiders? I mean, you got, I mean, Tyler Luckett joined them, but I think this will be a perfect opportunity for this guy to come out there and really show himself. And the next 2 guys I have lined up with that is Trey Harris at the Chargers, backing up Lad McConkey as wide receiver 2, could be wide receiver 1. Who knows? In Ibuka, we know he ain't going to be no wide receiver 1 over Mike Evans right away. That's Mike Evans. And Chris Godwin, if he's healthy, Ibuka will do his thing. I think more next year will we see Ibuka, but he is in my tier 2, and I would want him on my team, even if I had to stash him down on my one of my taxi squads or just hold for the next year, especially in the dynasty football. I mean, I don't think I'd draft him in a redraft. If I was doing a redraft, I think only 2 wide receivers I'd probably end up going for in a redraft. And that's only if I knew they won the room. And that would be Matthew Golden and McMillan would be on my little board as guaranteed wide receivers I'd want to go get. And then going into my tier 3, it kind of has a couple people in it. Couple. I say a couple. I got 14 in it. Because I went only 7. So I crammed all these guys into 7. So it's a lot. We probably won't even get through all of them. But in that, well, first I want to get your take. I'm rambling alone. I want to see if you like or dislike anything I've said so far out of my first 2 tiers. I mean, I know you got 1 or 2 players you're like, maybe not so, or maybe so.
Okay, so let's do it this way. That way we can remind the folks as well. So in tier 1, remind everybody who you have in tier 1.
Ashton Jeanty, Travis Hunter, Cam Ward, and Quinshon Judkins.
That's a pretty good list right there. And I really can't disagree with that at all, really. But yeah, I'm in agreement with that. I would, especially with, I could argue with you on Mario Hampton not being up there, especially with the place he landed. But I'm okay with him being in tier 2 as well. So I won't go into a deep argument with you on that. So I'm in agreement with that.
I think my biggest reason why I left him out of tier 1 was because Najee Harris still has a little bit of kick and a little bit of oomph. And I just don't see it being that right this year. So if I'm drafting, and right now, I'll be honest with you, I probably listed this more out for my needs than the general public. So it kind of tells you I'm a very running back weak team. And I am very thankful with this running back room that came out because there is a lot of high. Oh, how do you say it? It's a very good running back room.
It's very depth. It's very deep.
And some of these guys might not hit off this year, but they'll definitely probably hit off next year. And some might be 2 years down the line, depending on who it is and where they're playing at. So I kind of ranked them basically by like who they were with, depth of the chart and more senior wise, like, is that running back really even competition for him? And really, honestly, Najee Harris, you can't discredit him. I mean, he is Najee Harris.
Okay, I get it. All right, so remind everybody about tier 2 now.
So tier 2, I had Jackson Dart,
Okay.
Tyler Sal, Saunders, Omar Hampton, Trevion Henderson, Caleb Johnson, Matthew Golden, McMillan, Ibuka, Trey Harris, and Jack Beck.
That's a pretty impressive one, but I want to throw in. I would like to at least throw somebody in the hat for
Go
tier
ahead.
2, and I don't know, if you have them or not on what tier, not because you're still going on with it. But I'm thinking, we're starting to see like a little resurgence in, tight end rookies actually being relevant in year one because of Sam Laporta when he came out, and last year with Brock Bowers. So the NFL is starting to, pick up more on it. But I think with this place where he landed, no matter who the quarterback is, regardless, since it's competition, we tight ends are one of the quarterback's favorite targets, and especially in a quarterback competition. And I really think that Tyler Warren is going to have a lot of targets in that Colts receiving room. Especially, it doesn't matter who it is. It could be Richardson. It could be Jones. Heck, it could even be the quarterback they drafted late in the later rounds this past today. So I
And
will.
I'm good with that. I will put him up because he was my number one guy leading off tier 3. But I sat
Oh,
there and debated if I was going to
okay.
leave him in tier 2 or put him at tier 3. And I dropped him as tier 3 because I don't really need a tight end. And
Right.
I sat there and argued the fact that other people that would need a tight end, he would be the top pick for the place he landed and that whole quarterback room and the whole situation there. I think it would be a good place for his hand ability, his catchability, his run routes. He would be a perfect fit. So, yes, I totally agree. So, I will move him out of my tier 3 and add him into my tier 2 because I believe he fits there. So, I'm good with that.
Okay.
So, going into my tier 3, taking Tyler Warren out, adding him to my tier 2, I have a mixture of people. So I'm gonna just kind of start off with the running backs in the room I have. I got a
Okay.
total of 13 players. I got RJ Harvey going to Denver, Trevion Etienne going to the Panthers, Jaden Blue going to the Cowboys, Jarquaz Hunter going to the Rams,
Hmm.
and that's the running backs. And then the tight ends I had, well, I done moved one out. I had another tight end, and I know he got drafted later on, but I think where he got drafted is probably a good fit. And if anybody watched Gunnar Helm play, I think him going to the Titans, he'd be a good top tight end to pick in up after Tyler Warren. Yeah, he's the one that shoved Trevion Henderson, or who was it? No, it was not Trevion. It was I'll tell you who he shoved on the Ohio State team. Yeah, they played for Alabama, and I can't even remember the cornerback's name now. uh, Terrible Ohio State fan here. I got like tongue twat.
I think you're still. I think you're still tongue tied.
It's my birthday. I can cry if I want to. All right. So yeah, so I got Gunnar Helm up there, and then the wide receivers I have in that room is I got a load of them because there's a lot of like wide receivers I think have a high potential chance of doing really well. So I put them in my tier 3. I got Jaden Higgins, wide receiver at Texas. He could probably be a wide receiver 2 there. I don't think he'd take the room over Nico. Uh, Dante Thornton Jr. at the Raiders. I think he has a high potential chance of kind of doing something with the Raiders. Jalen Lane, wide receiver. I think he has a good chance at the Commanders. Pat Bryant going to the Broncos. The Broncos, there's always a chance for a wide receiver to run in that room. So you have the chance. I went ahead and put Luther Bird in the third in this room, even though I know he'll probably be wide receiver 3, just due to the fact of his short routes. You never know. I honestly don't think Jerome Tuesday will fall off. If anybody falls off on that team, it'll be DJ Moore. I think Luther could probably, Caleb could probably pick up with him. Just something about that. I just don't want to rule him out. Yes, I put Jalen Royals in here going to the Chiefs. Out of any of the Chiefs wide receivers they drafted, that was probably one of the best draftees they got. And with all the situations that happen in Kansas City with their wide receivers, he has a chance. And then Jordan, not saying now if they all show up, he might not have a chance. Jordan Hawkins that got drafted the 49ers. The 49ers is a special place. Wide receivers that get drafted there, they get their opportunity, and they always have an opportunity. And there's a lot of shakeups there at the 49ers. He has an opportunity. He's a good wide receiver, got good hands. I could see it happening, big guy. There's one quarterback in this room, and people are going to say, oh, here you go again. I love that. The only reason I put him there is because of who he's going to be playing behind. I think he could beat out Mason Randolph or whatever his name in the Steelers. He'll play behind Aaron Rodgers, but Aaron Rodgers, come on. Really, guys? What have we seen in the last 2 years?
I have a suggestion, if you don't mind me
I
bringing
would put
this
him on
up.
my taxi squad.
Um, I'm glad you said Will Howard, because to be honest with you, I was forgetting of the name who I was gonna also see about putting in tier 2,
Mm-hmm.
but I was gonna see about if we put Will Howard in tier 2, because I don't, to be honest with you, I don't really see them uh really signing Aaron Rodgers. I Especially because, I mean, if you think that they're 100% that Aaron Rodgers was going to come, they probably wouldn't have drafted a quarterback. Yeah, so if they draft the quarterback, they have this question. Well, we don't really know if Rodgers is going to or not. He keeps telling us, "Oh, I still want to play football and stuff," but Rodgers likes to take his sweet time on
And
making any decision.
well, I have him leading off my tier 3 for that fact, but yeah, tier 2, he could probably go in that because if he is the only quarterback, I honestly think he'll win the room.
I
So
I just don't think I don't think that Aaron Rodgers is going to sign, and I think that Will Howard is going to take it, and especially with the weapons that he would be having
oh
when he
yeah, it'll
goes
be
there. That's the reason why I would say he would be tier 2. He would be tier 2 on my tier list.
So I will
But
throw him up into tier 2. I'm fine with that. I'm good with that. So I made a little adjustment. I threw
it's
him to
not
tier
because
2.
I mean, and you can just ignore Rodgers. I mean, who cares? I mean, at this
Yeah, I
point,
mean,
he just needs to retire. I mean, I'm tired of dealing with this crap. We done
he might
deal
play
with
6 games in the whole season.
we done dealt with this with Brett Favre several times, and now he decides I'm gonna do the same thing. So I just have a message for you, Jordan Love. When you get to be around this age, like Brett Favre and Aaron Rodgers, please do not do this. At least just stay with one team, or you just say sayonara. Don't give us this wishy-washy crap. But anyways, besides that,
I
yes,
like it.
Will
So
Howard
that
definitely needs to be in tier 2, especially when you have DK Metcalf and George Pickens and Pat Fryermuth, along with the running backs, with Jalen Warren and Caleb Johnson. I mean, I think is a good fit.
so even if you don't have an IDP league, right now I named off 29 players in the tier 3. That pretty much is going to take most 3-round drafts. They're going to have a few left over that they can still pick from, and I think what I have in tier 4 will cover them. So moving on to tier 4, it's a little bit bigger list. It has 15 players in it. Um, it's filled up with a lot of tight ends, leftover running backs, and wide receivers with the quarterback dangling. So let me start off with the dangling quarterback, and I'm going to tell you my reasoning why. Yes, Sam Darnold did great. He choked with Minnesota. But watching the Seahawks trade away Sam Howell and pick up Jalen Milroe, If you're like if you have a deep quarterback room and you got room on your taxi squad, I would highly recommend pick this guy up towards the end. If you can get him a little earlier, do it. He's not going to probably play this year unless Sam just totally chokes. I don't see it yet, but you never know. He's leaving the Minnesota room where it was the only room he was successful in. Every other room he has choked at. So he could go back to the revert of when he was at the Panthers or when he was at the 49. It could happen again. And I'm going to tell you right now, Jalen Milroe does not have that steady arm yet. He still has some things to learn, but boy, can he run a ball.
Yeah,
So
I think
it would be a scary room in Seattle if he got a hold of the quarterback room.
yeah, and yeah, if he sits a year, I think he can clean all that up and become really good, and especially being a mobile quarterback.
Yeah. And you know they're going to utilize him in special plays with just his talent as is. I
Hmm.
mean, why would you not?
Yeah,
So, with that being said, I would kind of highly look at him and say, hey, he's worth picking up. And that's why I put him at the top of my tier 4. I like where he got drafted. I think it's a great place where he got drafted. He has a chance to play behind someone. I wish they would have put another senior quarterback in there a little bit better than the other guys so he could learn a little bit better. But then I thought about all the players that played behind Arnold. There's been a lot. And they've done good. I mean, Arnold's a good teacher. He just sometimes when he's in the game, he can't handle it. He chokes, whatever. I don't know what it is. I'm not going to go into it. But now I'm going to lead off into my tight ends in that room because I think we got some top end tight ends. If you need some tight ends in a late round, these guys you should look at. And one's a little kind of like way out there, got me. But I'm going to tell you why it got me. And I'll get to that in just a minute. I'm going to start with the number one guy I think is going to be great, Mason Taylor, Jets. Jets need a tight end. Great pickup. Elijah Aurora going to Seahawks. Seahawks, tight end room's wide open. All right, so I think he could take it. Mitchell Evans, Panthers, another wide room open. Yeah, they got some, but they don't. It could happen. And the next one I like, and the only reason this guy even hits my radar is he comes from Iowa. What comes out of Iowa? Great tight ends. It doesn't matter. I mean, I've seen them like they were ranked nobodies, but they come out of Iowa. They could go the 7th round and they could still be stars. Look at Kittle, 6th, 5th round, something like that. Luke Lachey going to the Texans. What tight end does the Texans have? Come on. I mean, yeah, all right, whatever. But I think that'd be a good little tight end group with that. And then on top of that, there's some running backs that scare me. They're like, I want them, and I'll probably take them if I get a chance to get them. Because if you're silly enough to pass them up, why? Because they might not do it this year. They're going to do it sometime soon. And some of them might not do anything. I don't think Dylan Sampson will beat out Quinshon Judkins for one reason. Is a lot of people forget about what Quinshon Judkins did when he was in the SEC. He was a beast. He went into Ohio State for 1 year and shared a room with another great running back. They both had over 1,000 yards in rushing and I think almost close to 1,000 yards in receiving. It was ridiculous. 2 running backs. Okay. So I don't think Dylan is that caliber, but he's good enough. If something happened to Quinshon Judkins, they're going to do some little swapping in and out.
I
Dylan's a
think
good third.
right. I think it's going to be them two leading the charge on the running back core because I think Dylan Sampson can outbeat Jerome Ford because right now on the depth chart they got Quinshon Judkins number 1, and then they got Jerome Ford and then Dylan Sampson. But I think Dylan Sampson can beat out Jerome Ford, and it'll be basically Quinshon Judkins and Dylan Sampson leading the running back room.
Yeah. And then my favorite pickup was the Giants, Cam Scattaboo. Look, everybody could talk what they could talk about the Giants running back room. It ain't that impressive. You're putting a guy in here that's got heart. He's out there to play. And if he could pull any of that stuff off, I would put my money on him. Another one I got on there is I'm going to say his name, try to do the best I can. Bashal Tutin for the Jaguars. It's kind of like a wishy-washy thing. Anything can happen. So I think he's good enough, but I don't think he's going to get it. That's why he's in my tier 4. I would probably bypass him over the ones I just mentioned. And I'd even probably pick up Jordan James before I picked him up. And Jordan James went to the 49ers. It's a big question mark about the Christian McCaffrey world. He's going to the 49ers. They already traded Mason. So guess what happens when Christian McCaffrey ain't there? You got a guy like this that's going to get a shot at running the ball. I think it'd be great. The next running back I got is a question mark until Chase Brown falls off, and that's Tajay Brooks, running back for the Bengals. Great running back. See potential. Then I got a couple wide receivers in here. I got Kyle Williams going to the Patriots. I think that's an open room. Aaron Smith, wide receiver Jets, probably wide receiver 3. Illick Alamora, wide receiver Titans. It's kind of like maybe, maybe not. And then that same one with Kendra Lambert Smith for the Chargers. I got them in 4 because that's the end of the draft. Okay, guys, this is like you're already done. If you're already had a 3-round draft, you're probably not even talking about these guys. This is for these guys that go that are like the crazy ones, like me and Austin, like the 7-round rookie draft. This is where we're going to be grabbing these guys. These guys are taxi squad lovers, and it could be a guy for us. They might not be. The next one is Savion Williams, probably one of the better wide receivers out of the group that could possibly take the room. But I got to wait and see what happens with that. I don't want to touch it yet because they're really high on Golden. But Williams has touches, so let's see what happens. You never know what they do in the pros, but that kind of gives you the 15 players into tier 4. I wonder how you feel about all of them so far.
Well, I mean, I can't really argue with it. I had a couple of suggestions that I threw up, because mine would be now. Obviously, when I actually do my deep dive, when then we release the 2.0 ones, actually the post draft updates on the rookies and the players that's in the NFL. It could be different,
Oh yeah, it's
but
going to change as the weeks go on. I
but
mean,
what I did, and a couple that you bumped up, um, I can't really argue with that most. Now, obviously, when we get deeper into this, we'll probably argue a little bit more. But right now, I think it. I mean, it's pretty reasonable, especially with somebody start doing a startup draft or in a rookie draft, depending on how deep you are.
yeah. And so really my next 2 tiers, they're out there tiers. They're like players in there that I'll mention that might move up on your list and could still stay down on your list. And like Austin said, this list right here was just me. I was going to do the whole thing, but then it got so overwhelming just doing the offensive players, and more people play offensive in IDP. So I figure we'll save the in-depth stuff for the IPDP and the other stuff later. And I'll just give you guys an overview of the offensive players. So tier 5, it is loaded with great tight ends that could be tight ends and quarterbacks that could possibly have an opportunity and running backs that we would like to see get the opportunity, but might not get the opportunity because of where they got drafted. So let me start with the quarterbacks. Nothing against Dylan Gabriel. Played a great time at Oregon. Yes, he was drafted before Saunders, but I believe it's going to be a good battle. And at the end of the day, I don't think Dylan Gabriel's going to win it, but I threw him down in tier 5 to give him some hope. My next quarterback on that list is Curtis Rourke for the 49ers, only if Brock Purdy gets hurt. I don't think we'll see him. Quinn Ewings for Dolphins, same thing. Tua gets hurt, you have a good chance of seeing him. And honestly, I could see him walking into a starting role and do very well. So he, in my opinion, out of the 3 quarterbacks I just named, he would probably be your best bet to put on your taxi squad and save for that moment.
Yeah, so let me give you a list of who Quentin Ewers needs to beat out to at least take over the backup. It's literally just Zach Wilson. I think he's got it.
I think he's got it too. Zach Wilson's been trying to beat himself out of a paper bag for the last year or two. So that's who I have as the quarterbacks in that group. Now, the tight ends, I think, is a great group of tight ends. Now, some of these tight ends I ranked higher during the season, and the reason why is because I didn't know where they were going. Now you put them in a room. So it's kind of hard to put them up in that top tier now because you know the room. And I might be wrong, and I might be reading the room wrong, but I honestly still think Cole Kmet will probably still dominate the Bears room as the tight end. He has the skill set. He's really good. But I still like Colston Loveland. And I don't really see what's going to happen on I mean, Kmet has these things that he did very well. He was a very top end running back, tight end for a while. He had that one off season when Caleb took over. but now he's back on his roll. I really don't know what it's going to look with two good tight ends. So I don't know if it'll be split where they're both even. I don't know if one's going to take the room more than the other. That I couldn't rank him higher than that because of that. Terrence Ferguson going to the Rams. Not really sure. So I got him in there. Ordon Gadsden the second. I got him at the Chargers. Still another question mark. Harold Fanning going to the Browns. I just don't see him taking the tight end room. Thomas Fadone. He's got a lot of highlights from the combine. He looked really good. That's the reason why I got him up at a tier 5. But then again, his college career doesn't look too hot. So it's like, it's going to be one of the two. He's just a question mark to me. So that's why I put him in tier 5. Running back room, I got Phil Maffa going to the Cowboys. He has a potential chance, maybe. LaQuint Allen to the Jaguars. Don't really think so. I think the best one I've seen in the running back situation is Bashard Smith going to the Chiefs. Possibility. Kyle Mungoli going to the Bears. I just don't know. And the wide receivers, I got Jalen Noel going to Texans, Troy Horton going to Seahawks, Tez Johnson going to the Buccaneers. I see all wide receiver 3 or maybe punt returners. I'm sorry. That's just my opinion. But, they haven't started their training yet. They haven't got out there and started doing anything yet. So a lot of this can change and our rankings can change before. And we still ain't even talk about the undrafted guys. So this is a rough estimate of 15 people. So, and then the next 3 are kind of like the same. It's like 6 and 7 are just like the last of the draftees. None of these guys were picked in the first couple rounds. These guys were picked in the late rounds. And it's just where I think they landed is why they're in their position. Like, for instance, number 6, DJ Giddens going to the Colts. I don't see it this year as the running back. Ollie Gordon, the second, Dolphins. Maybe, but Devon A-Chain, I don't know. It's a lot of fire there. I think the one I do like that I might have a little ranked low, and after I re-looked at all his stuff, might go up a little bit, is Devin Neal at the Saints as a running back. Very impressive. Ryan Leonard as the Colts quarterback, that room's full. And really, I don't think it's going to be this year if he even get an opportunity. Because you got Anthony Richardson. I know they ain't decided, but there's a lot going on in that room. And I just don't think Riley Leonard is going to be the guy. Jackson Hall's tied into the Bills. Doesn't excite me. I'm sorry. And Robbie Outs, I know he played with Alabama, but he wasn't that great of a pass catcher there. He's going to the Seahawks. I don't think he's going to win the room. He's a good blocker, but he gets a little over aggressive. Jimmy Horn Jr., Panther wide receiver. Yeah, he had some great moments at Colorado, but I just don't see him taking the Panthers room. Then the running back, Damian Martinez. What you got? Kenneth Walker and Zach Chabaret. Come on. It's going to take a lot for this guy to get in there. Caden Panther, wide receiver to the Bills. Just what I've seen is not what I would expect. Dominic Lovett, Lions room is full, but if anything happened to anybody, maybe. Punt returner, more so. And then Matavio, tight end for the Saints. Another, I looked at him a little bit, maybe, but I just don't see it. And then my last tier 7, the only reason I'm not focusing on this, just kind of running through it because these are really just low-end picks. It's actually every offensive player that was drafted this year. So the next one I have, the only one that's kind of like, I don't know why I put him in tier 7. And after I looked at it, I was like, what was I thinking? Because he could probably be a tier 5. And that's a Kayla Mullins, running back for Titans. He could possibly fight his way up. Doubt it. Because you got Pollard and you got Tajay Spears. So, yeah, I just don't see it. Maybe I already talked myself out of it. Wide receiver for the Vikings, another full room of wide receivers. I'm sorry, Ty. Yes, you're great in college, but look at who you got in your room. Justin Jefferson, Addison, come on. Let's just be real. Yeah, maybe you get your moments sometimes. Love you guys. I think you're great. I love the opportunity for you, and hopefully you can take a chance and shine. Isaac T. Salat, wide receiver. I had no clue who this guy was. He got drafted to the Lions. Another full room. I'm sorry. Kyle McCord, you're going to the Eagles. The Eagles. I don't see nothing happen to my great Jalen Hurts. I'm sorry. I liked you, guy. I really did. I wanted hopes for you, but you went to the wrong team. Uh, Graham Mertz for Texans. Another one. Bad pick. I mean, I thought he was a great quarterback. I had him ranked pretty high in the offseason. You're landing at the Texans. That's CJ Stroud's land. The Raiders, I like their take on it. That just tells me they don't have a whole lot of faith in their backup quarterback right now. You take two quarterbacks in the 7th round to find it out, and these guys won championships in their leagues. Yeah, one of them I had in my rankings, Tommy Millette, for the Raiders, and then the other one is Cam Miller, who we went against in the championship. So it's like two great, like South Dakota and Montana quarterbacks. And what else came from Montana? Let's remember Josh Allen, but we know he ain't no Josh Allen, so let's not get carried away. Calm it down, folks. You didn't get that lucky. You never know. This is the NFL. So, and then the last group I had in here, I did have a tight end in here, Caleb Lohner. I almost said something else. I'm glad I said his name right because that would have just been wrong. Going to the Broncos, I just don't see what you would do. Then the other running back is Jakery, Krosky, Merritt for the Commanders. I just don't see it. And then there's the 4 wide receivers. Junior Birgin going to the 49ers. Tunnel Muntfield going to the Rams. Ricky White going to the Seahawks. And Lajete Wester going to the Ravens. I'm sorry, guys. The only exciting thing I see out of 7 is Mullen. No, I keep wanting to say he did good, but then I got to remember who's there. It's like TJ Pollard kicks me in the back of the head and Tajay grabs my nuts or something. I'm like, you got to stop it. So we're going to Tommy Millette and Cam Miller. So I always thought Aiden O'Connell, I just didn't think he was the guy. And I don't see him being the guy. And I know Pete Carroll's thinking, I got to have a good backup. So I think that's why he did what he did. I think that's what the Browns did. The Browns didn't want to go and take, my take on it is they didn't want anybody coming in thinking they were the star because they were unsure what they wanted as a quarterback. I think they wanted to bring in a group. They wanted a battle. And I think they're going to get a battle. And at the end of the day, I think Saunders is going to come out with that chip on his shoulder and he's going to show everybody I belonged. I should have been number 2. And here I am. And I hope he does. I hope he gets this opportunity because after what went on, I was one of them guys, let's go buy his jersey now. We got to support this kid. I mean, you just want to go up and give him a big hug. I mean, that's got to be like the biggest dramatization in your life. You're propped up on this pedestal and you're there. And then all of a sudden you're just like knocked down to nothing. And it's like the way he handled that was great. Very sportsmanship like. And yes, God is with you, man. God is with you. So just keep on rolling. So I hope he does good in the quarterback room. I'm looking forward to the battle. And I ain't caring nothing about what anybody's saying because I honestly believe they'll play it on the field and they'll decide it on the field. So let's see what happens on the field. That's the most important thing at the end of the day. That's a lot to cover. I mean,
yeah, and that's just the offensive side.
I know. There was 247 people drafted, and we just covered offensive players for tight end positions. We didn't even talk about like the offensive guards and tackle, which I think will improve some of the groups because some of them draft picks change the way that team is shaped. Like adding certain pieces in the front makes a difference because if you got a guy that can help block and get you through and get you an opening, makes a big difference. I mean, them guys, the O-line can make that offense move every which way. So it's exciting.
Yep, sure is.
So that covered wow, I can't believe we just went through 84 players. 83 players, guys. 83. I'll post this list with the modifications that Austin asked for because I already added them. So I moved Will Howard up to tier 2, which I like that. I also moved who else did? Oh, I moved Tyler Warren up to tier 2 too. So we put a tight end in there, which makes all sense because right now, you as a dynasty league, if you're not in a startup league and you're doing your needs, like me, I'm needing running backs. I have finally solidified my quarterback rooms. Now I need to start. Well, one of them, I think I'm working on a quarterback room. I need to go back in one of my leagues. I think I need to work on a quarterback room. But one room I have Jaden Daniels. Thank God. And then the other room I have CJ Stroud. So it's like I'm a sunshine everywhere. And but now it's like I got to work on. I think one of the rooms I got. I don't even know who I have to. That's the room I probably need to work on.
Right.
If I can't name the quarterback, there's a problem. I think it
No,
was like
that's probably one of the signs. That's probably
I
one of the
think
signs of you might want to grab one.
yeah, I think I have one with Trevor Lawrence, which I think you know honestly, you put Travis Hunter running there with Brian Thompson. I mean, that's gonna be wow. That's gonna be scary.
Mm-hmm.
People don't realize how good Travis Hunter was good as a wide receiver. He had over 1,000 yards, right? He played cornerback too. So he could definitely run a route and win a contested ball. So
Oh yeah, definitely,
and
definitely.
and it really depends. And Najee Harris is getting older. So when I rated Omar Hampton, I kind of agree with you. He might need to go to a tier one because I'm looking at that different. What's to say? I think maybe later on in the season we'll see how it plays out. But he could probably move up to a tier one because if Najee takes a step back and this guy takes a step forward, oh my God, there you go.
Yeah,
So
I mean, yeah. I really like Hampton. I think Najee's going to get some snaps, but I think it's going to be more like of relievers for Hampton. But I really like him, so that's the reason why I brought it up about at least trying to get him into tier one, especially with how much they want to run.
yeah, so I know we're done now. I mean, that covered everybody on the offense. So I think next thing we need to do is for the next episode, I think we need to start ranking them. I mean, how do you want to do this? You want to do it by position or do you want to go out and do this by I mean, that's the thing. We need to figure this one out, but we'll definitely discuss that offline. Not online, but yeah,
Yeah.
we'll definitely do some ranking because the next week's going to be exciting because you got to think about it. Right now, free agency is still crazy. You still got some top notch players out there in free agency. You still got J.K. Dobbins. You still got Nick Chubbs. I mean, there's a lot of people. And I finally think it's time for Zeke to take a step back. I don't think he's out there no more. If he is, bless him.
Yeah.
But,
I thought he'd retired. My bad.
oh, did he retire? I don't know.
No, I don't know. I just thought he did. I don't know if he did or didn't. I just ain't heard nothing about him, so I just figured he did.
But I think the whole entire draft, round one was very impressive. The only shocker was the whole Sanders thing that went on. I think we were pretty dead on a lot of these picks that we thought were going to happen and where they went. A lot of players picking up defensive guards, offensive linemen, edge rushers. We kind of all said that was going to happen. I was surprised for two running backs to go in the first. I really didn't think Omar Hampton was going to go in the first, but I thought more of a second round pick. But hey, Chargers wanted their guy. They went up and got their guy. I like it. Jackson Dart
Mm-hmm.
was probably the biggest shock when they traded up. I honestly sat here when they traded up. I thought they were going to call Saunders' name. I did not expect when they called Jackson Dart. I didn't know how to react. I was like, I sat there and I thought to myself, what just happened? It was like a lot of thoughts ran through my head, and I think what Pittsburgh shortly picked after that, and then it was like, oh my God. So it was like I was not expecting that.
All the places that you thought he was going to go to early, it didn't happen.
But he did go to one of the teams we projected, the Browns.
Well, yes, he did, but it is not when I thought he was supposed to go.
It's like I projected Will Howard to go to the Steelers. It's just not in the fifth round. I thought it'd be more like in the third round, but it is what it is.
Hmm.
Fifth round, third round. I mean, at the end of the day, there ain't nobody there really. So I mean, he's got a good open wide room to
It,
take whatever
it,
chances he got.
it doesn't matter what round you got drafted in. It only matters that you get the opportunity. That's what really matters.
And it's what you do with that opportunity. It's a blessing when you guys get picked for the NFL. It's not something that you deserve or you inherit. You have to earn it. And these guys earn it. Every one of them. We sit here and we talk smack about fantasy and we talk about who we like and who's better and what. But in all reality, this is what dreams are made of. These guys get to do something in their opportunity, and that's the biggest thing. And it is what it is. I mean, you got to love it. So, guys, if you like the content, please hit the like button. Don't forget to subscribe. And what do you always say?
Make sure you share because sharing is caring.
That's right. Sharing is caring.